Hello, everybody. This is Paul Penniman along with,
$20.
and we're going to tell you all about the differences between our cultures. I'm an old white guy who, for some reason, decided to move to Southeast DC. And Mr. Dollars, you've never been to Northwest DC, have you?
I have. I have.
My old stomping grounds?
Yes.
Yeah, so here we have an old white guy and a young African American man just discussing our cultural differences, our racial differences, but we're not going to be totally honest. We call it keeping it 84
Right.
because we can't really keep it 100, can we?
No. No.
And tell everybody when we first met. It was Anacostia High School.
Yes, in 2012. I believe it was around March or April 2012, right around the time that Trayvon Martin was shot and killed.
And I'm walking around the building with a backpack on
Yes.
and minding my own business. I'm just asking students if they need help, which, of course, I guess was suspect in your mind.
Yes.
What were you thinking as I was walking around?
Okay, first of all, I was in the classroom and you came in different classes to pick up certain people, and I saw you come in my class, and you had of course, a backpack on, but it was flat. When I first saw you coming in the building, your backpack was flat, and they had metal detectors, and in the schools, yes, they did for us, for the students. They didn't really search the teacher, so when you came through and your backpack was flat and then you left and it was full and then you looked at like a typical serial killer, I thought that you was hunting down students and taking them to your room because you would give them food and stuff, pizza. And I think that that was your way to get them in, get them comfortable, and then you kill them, and then you chop them up, and you take them out little by little every day. And I'm like, why is the security guard ain't checking this man? Because I think he's killing the students. That's what I thought at first.
Yeah, I think we all got the positive racial profiling because most of us tutors who came into the building were white, and we just passed right through. We just walked anywhere we wanted to.
They checked all of us, and I didn't have nothing in my book bag. And I don't even think I had a book bag.
We would come into a classroom, and I'd say, "Could I have Brian this period?" and the teacher would say, "Sure."
And I was like, I don't want to go with him.
Take him, take her, whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm. But then I found out that you really gave the children pizza and you really wanted to help us. So I said, okay, he cool. He all right.
Yeah. So what's our first topic today? $20 came to my house today. Excuse me, and I said, I don't have any suitable water for you today. I'm drinking tap water. And being the suspicious person you are, yes, you're declining the tap water. Could you go over the whole water thing and why it's...
And everything that I say is opinionated for me. Some of it may be true and some of it may just be me. If anybody hear what I say and they say, well, that ain't all the way right, then you feel free to correct me. But this is what I experienced. Now, I watched a lot of Lifetime movies, and I noticed that a lot of white people, they drink, straight from the sink. Tap water. I thought, okay, that's just in the movies, but I really found out that white people really do drink from the sink. They do tap water. So he offered tap water. I was like, no. First, when he said you want some water, I'm just assuming, okay, he got some in the refrigerator, some Deer Park water. But no, he was going to the sink, and I said, no. That's okay.
All right, now let me tell you something about white people and bottled water. We think bottled water is an environmental disaster. There's this massive plastic floating around the Pacific Ocean, and it's like millions and millions of plastic bottles and what they've become. And we just can't stand these little plastic bottles. Plus, we all supervised middle school projects where the kids tested the water out of the bottles, and they tested the tap water, and the tap water always comes out cleaner, less bacteria and stuff like that.
Really? Is that a scientific fact?
Supposedly. Now, I know that white people did experiments on you, black people, back in the 20th century, the Tuskegee experiments. I understand all that.
That's why I was scared to get the COVID shot.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Yeah. I mean, but it did seem to affect African Americans more than whites, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Did you ever get the shot?
No.
Really?
No.
You never got tested?
No. I got tested to make sure I didn't have it. I never had it, but I didn't I didn't get the COVID shot.
See, we'll believe anything doctors tell us. I'm not sure why we're so trusting, but if the doctors tell us to do this, do that. I mean, I've got a big bottle of pills. I'm taking all these pills my doctors are telling me to take.
I'm not saying nothing was wrong with getting the shot. If you got the shot, good. If you did, it's just all your preference. For me, they was like saying, "Oh, we'll give you food stamps and we'll give you cars." They was giving us stuff to get us a shot. And I said, if we really need this, we supposed to be paying. So I said, okay, no. Because my grandma, the stuff that she needs in order for her to stay alive, she got to tear her arm and leg off to get it. So I'm like, why are you giving me food stamps? Which they kind of got me with that one almost.
Yeah, and they think African Americans supported Trump more after the whole COVID thing because he was like, "Hey, don't worry about it so much. We'll be okay."
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure. I'm not a political person all the way. I don't know.
So for you, it never really became political.
Just like when you said the plastic thing with white people in plastic, but plastic is all around. Matter of fact, you probably take the water that you just got out of the sink and put it in a plastic cup.
Yes, I am drinking out of a plastic cup.
That's what I'm trying to figure out what's up with and then you recycle.
But this plastic cup is going to be with me for years. I am not throwing away this plastic cup. I am saving it. In fact, I have a plastic water bottle that I bought at a Starbucks, and I paid like, I don't know, $7 for this bottle of water, something ridiculous.
Okay.
And I'm holding on to that, and I'm refreezing the water time and time again. My white tennis player friends see me every Monday with the same bottle of water.
That's a typical white thing. Y'all will wear the same shoes and that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, do you think it's okay? Okay, we get the bottle of water, then we drink it, we throw it away. And then that's when recycling comes in. Are y'all good with recycling? Do y'all like recycling?
I think I'm the only person in Southeast DC who actually does recycle. I mean, I'm constantly telling these young people, no, that's garbage. You can't just throw away a dirty paper towel into the recycling. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's supposed to be like dry office paper and bottles and cans. And you can't throw those plastic wrappings that you have around food. You can't recycle those.
Can you recycle condoms?
Condoms is no good. You can't recycle those. Was that a racist thing to say, though, that I'm the only one around here who knows how to recycle?
In a way, yeah. If somebody, because you probably the only white person I know around here. So it's like you're just saying black people don't recycle.
I did get a recycling award back in the day. I was such a good recycler.
What would you recycle other people's stuff?
You mean take it out of the garbage and put it? Yeah, I've done that. I've actually taken other people's garbage and put it in recycling. Yeah.
Remember you said you wanted to have a lady to come over here and tutor her, and you was cleaning up the neighborhood to make it look less suspicious, so she can feel comfortable.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should just be totally honest. The big problem I find around my neighborhood is that there's just trash everywhere. Why is there trash everywhere on the ground? Can you explain that to me? In fact, there's trash next to a sign. There's a sign that says, "Please don't throw trash on the ground." And there's trash right next to that sign.
We in Southeast, and I hate to, man, they're gonna think I'm a coon. No, I don't know why we do that. I don't know why I guess we just don't have time to throw it in the trash.
Yeah, I guess
like sometimes, because I know when I had trash, when I'm out and about, I'd be looking for the trash can and it'd be miles away. I'm like, where's the trash can? And I just said, forget, I'm just going to throw it here. So I think that's what they just don't got time. That's why they got people, they pay people to clean that up. Like when I was at the metro station, I had a candy wrapper. I was finished a Snickers, and there was the trash can way down on the other end, and the train was coming. I didn't have time. So I just said, I'm going to just throw it down. They'll get it. They pay people to have time to clean that up.
Okay, so
I think if everybody actually put stuff in the trash can and do what they're supposed to do, not have trash around, then the people that clean up won't have a job. So it works.
Okay, so you're really part of the problem, then. I see.
Or am I part of creating new jobs.
Well, let's get back to the whole. What was Paul Penniman? A serial killer, a molester.
All
Uh,
of that. You looked like a molester. I thought I was scared you was gonna get me because people did thought I was a little moist back then. To this day, I'm still trying to. I'm tired now. I'm who I am. I people thought I was gay, and I understand because I have little, I'm kind of tender around the edges, but that's just because I'm a lover boy. Like if a girl give me a chance, I'll love her until I get tired of her. But they thought that, okay, he's gay. So I spent my whole life trying to prove, no, I'm not. And I'm just tired now. I don't care what you think about me. I know what I like. Now they're saying I'm bisexual, which is an improvement. Because I was just straight gay. Now they say, okay, he like men and women. So I was like, man, Mr. Penniman this guy probably think he can do something with me.
Well, I remember you're saying that my driving around white kids to colleges, it was. I mean, sorry, driving around black kids to colleges was a little suspect.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I just thought it was natural. We're taking kids to visit colleges, and they're learning something about the colleges. So tell me what's wrong with that.
A white man driving a bunch of black kids around colleges, like to see the colleges.
No good.
Just by me saying that don't even sound right. White man driving black kids around, that already sound off.
Should I not be even walking around a historically black college?
I mean, you can, because white people. I'm like, oh, they trying to learn and our culture, whatever. So when I see that, that's fine. But then you driving black kids around. That's something else.
Yeah.
But just coming because white people visit our stuff all the time. They wanna learn. They always want to learn about us. I hope they're not learning to say, well, what we can do to get them back into the chains again.
Yeah, I used to have students who say, "Mr. Penniman, don't you think it's weird that you're driving us around?"
See, by them saying that, that already lets you know something ain't right. The fact that they got to say that to you, Mr. Penniman, do you think this is?
Aren't you worried that someone's going to say something to you?
Yeah, they're going to say something. They're going to say, in that case, you look crazy because it's like you look like a pedophile.
I was looking for a kid maybe 10 years ago, and I went into Fort Stanton. I was literally supposed to pick him up. I was told, pick up Andre and take him somewhere. And so I pull up to Fort Stanton. Kids are playing basketball. It's a nice day. And he's not there on the court. So I go in the rec. And I say, and I'll just make up a name, Brian Taylor here.
Okay.
And they look at me like the older man, the older African-American man who's running the rec, like his face turns white, like this boy is in danger. And I know Brian was back there somewhere, like there was a computer room, and I don't know what's back there, but I know he was in the building somewhere. And I found out later that he had been waiting for me. And the guy took me to like one room. Oh, nope, not here.
See?
And he just basically wanted me to leave.
See?
And so I totally missed out.
That shows you that something. Now, we know you're not like that. But see, the world today, what they say, perception is everything.
I guess so. Perception is reality. Yeah.
Perception is reality. That's what it is. That's why I say you might as well laugh at it. That's why if they think I'm gay, let them think that. I don't care. I told the girl, I said, just take me back here for 5 minutes. You'll show how gay. I'll show you how gay I am.
You're desperate.
She was like, "Oh my God, all the guys that I know, they're down low." And I ain't know what the DL. I thought that means like you down low, like you hiding from the cops. But now I know it means you can be gay. So she was like, "Everybody's turning gay, Brian. I don't know about you." And I was like, "Oh my God. Okay, you 17, so I can't do nothing to you right now. But just come back in about 3 years." They say 18. 18 is too early. I say like around 19, 20. Come back in 3 years and I'll show you that I'm straight. And that will give me enough time to figure out what I need to do because I didn't know what I was doing then.
All right. So we identify you as $20. Can you explain where the $20 came from?
Okay. First of all, I don't really want no one to know my real name, even though they would, because they can look me up. In case I fail in life, at least you won't know my real name off the bat. They'll just know me as $20. But that's all I really have. Right? Matter of fact, that's really all I have now is $20. In the hood, if you have at least $20 in your pocket, you can make it through the day. You may even be able to make it through the next day if you just have at least $20 in your pocket. That's all you hear. Hey, let me hold $20. You know, not 10, not 5. 50 is too much. You ask somebody for $50, no. But 20, you might, it's like, okay, you're not asking for too much, but then you asking enough to get by. But one day I had just $20 to my pocket. I had to use the bathroom. I was at work and I had to use the bathroom and I had to do number 2. I sat on the toilet and I did number 2, but I didn't know that this is why you have to have a wallet. The $20 was falling out my pocket because I stuffed it in my back pocket real quick, but it was falling out. And I didn't know until I got up and flushed the toilet and I saw my last $20 swirling in the doo-doo. So I'm going in there trying to grab it, my own doo-doo, just grabbing it, but I couldn't get it because it was slipping out my hands and it went right in the toilet.
Is that when you got your first wallet?
Yeah, I got my wallet. I didn't want wallets because it made me look too white. You know, when you take your wallet out and you get your credit card out, it made me look too white. And I didn't see, just like how you say you don't look too good as a white man driving black kids around. I felt like I just don't look right with dreadlocks in my head. And then I'm pulling out a wallet to get my money out. You just pull the money out and say, here it is. I ain't, oh, let me get my wallet. I got credit cards here. No, I didn't want to do that, but I just got to the point I don't care.
You know, one phrase I've learned here in Southeast is, can I hold $10? And I'm like, okay, you can hold it. Are you going to spend it? Do I get it back? I mean, I never quite understood what that meant. So I guess
it just means give it to them.
It's gone. Yeah, the $10 is gone.
It's like if I see you, I may have it. If I have it, you know, if I don't, I just don't, you know. But it means give me $10 and I need it.
Okay. Now the other thing is you're walking around everywhere with a mask on, which is very nice of you because you're a little coffee, a little germy.
Yes.
When you go into a store, do people look at you like take off that mask? Or
if it's like a mask, and thank God, I'm gonna say this, I thank God for COVID because now I can wear a mask without looking too suspicious. It depends on the mask. If it looks like a mask that you was like what's it called, a surgical mask, or like the one I got on is shaped like a surgical mask, that's fine. They like, okay, you just coming in there. It depends, though. It depends.
So no one's ever thought you're like a criminal or anything?
They probably did, but they didn't say nothing. But if I come in with a ski mask, then they're more alert. They'll follow me around the store. You know, there was a white girl. I was on a train with her. I thought she was cute, but I wasn't gonna say nothing to her. But she got. I was like, I pray to God that, because she was looking at me the whole time on the train. And I said, I already know she's looking at me like, and she was holding her purse. So I said, she's looking at me like I'm going to do something to her. All I can do is pray that she didn't get off the same stop I did, which she did.
You know, I'm always going into the Giant with my backpack.
Oh, Lord.
And, you know, I'm an old white guy with a backpack. So they're like, okay, whatever. He's like, wants to be a mountaineer or something. And I fill up my backpack with stuff, and I'm trusted to take it out and check it at the scanner, you know, the self-check scanner. The other day, I accidentally stole some salami. But when because I forgot about it. I didn't find it in the backpack. It was like really skinny. It was between some papers.
Wow.
So I checked everything but the salami, and I walk out, and I didn't know I was doing this. And they go, have a nice day, sir. They don't even check me. They don't even check me as I'm walking out. And when I got home,
I paid for all my stuff, and they were still watching me going out the door. I paid for everything, and they still watching me.
Yeah, who was somebody?
We know he got something in there.
One of the African American comedians had this joke where he was at Best Buy or something, and the guy says, "Do you want a bag, sir?" Yeah, I'm going to walk out of this without a bag.
That's why I get a bag, but that's just what it is, and I'm okay with it. The lady, I spoke to a white lady. She looked at me like, "Oh, he can talk." You know, I was like, "How you doing?" You know, because I knew. I'm like, we on the bus. Matter of fact, there is a bus. They changed all the bus routes, but this bus used to be called the X2. One of the most rowdiest buses you will ever get on.
It was entertaining.
Yes, and think about it. The name, the route itself sounds crazy. X2. That already sounds funny.
It's rated X.
Yeah, rated X. So we on the bus, and white people see the X2, and I'll just stay on this for just a minute. The X2 goes from Minnesota Avenue Station, terrible, and then it goes downtown to Lafayette Square. Right? It's funny because between Benning Road, terrible, and then it turns to 8th Street. Now, part of 8th Street is kind of terrible, but then once it crosses North Capitol Street, that's downtown. You kind of safe down there. And I noticed white people get on at a certain bus stop going to Lafayette Square.
Did you just send all your people under the bus just now because you're talking about Terrible, which is Benning Road, primarily African American neighborhoods? Is that what you're doing right now?
Yes. That's look. My name's $20. They ain't gonna be able to find me. That's why I say it's terrible. And even my own people would say it's terrible over there. They would say that. I don't know. They might clean it up now, but I'm just saying what has been and what I've seen. It's probably changing now because I haven't been over there. But I noticed that when I was on the bus, the few times I survived, white people will get on at a certain stop going to Lafayette Square, and then coming back, they will get off this. It's like they send a code to each other. Get off at this stop before it turns to Benning Road.
A little signal goes off on there.
Yes, I seen that. And one lady got on the bus. She was so snooty, white lady. The bus driver didn't like her. I can tell. Like, look at her. Thinks she all that. I got something for her. So she rung the bell. And he kept going because he knew that everybody else on the bus was going straight to Minnesota Avenue. Nobody ain't ringing no bell and getting off nowhere, I guess, at a certain time at night. So she rung the bell. He kept going. And she didn't, she was kind of timid, like, oh, my God, he's going. And she passed the stop. Now, I said, well, just get off at the next stop. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's what she was saying. I said, ma'am, just get off at the next stop. She said, I've already missed the stop I was supposed to get off. I can't get off in the middle of this area. So she rode with us all the way to Minnesota Avenue, and she was afraid for her life. Now, because I was the only one that sounded like I spoke proper English, she was talking to me. And then when we got off, it was probably about 11 o'clock at night. And she said, can you stay with me until I catch a cab? And because she called the cab. And I hate to say this, but I told her no. Because my bus was coming. I said, ma'am, to be honest with you, you're safer than I am. They're not going to rob you. Trust me. They're not going to rob you, but they will rob me. I am more in danger than you are. And then my bus is coming. What it look like me standing there with you? Wait till you get in the cab. I asked her, and I know she wasn't going to pay for me to get home. She wanted to get out the way. And then I'm standing waiting for the next bus. I said, no, you fine. Just get back on the bus or get your cab and go where you got to go. It's a certain way.
Eddie Murphy has that bit on Saturday Night Live. It's a skit where he gets on the bus and he's dyed his whole skin white. He's made himself look white. And he gets on the bus and the white bus driver says, oh, no, you don't have to pay. Whereas every other time, he's had to pay. And he gets all these favors and everything.
That's just the way it is. I'm tired of we shall overcome. Okay. I'm sick of that. I've been trying to come for years. The way it is, Mr. Penniman, this gonna sound crazy, but the white people are in charge. We're fighting so that we can be equal. I don't even want to be equal with y'all anyway. I don't. Be happy with who you are. But yeah, y'all in charge of everything. So I'm just gonna play the game. I'm not gonna sit here and try to fight anything, and then we die off. Like they had one time, I was in Job Corps, and they had they was marching. But this has nothing to do with white or black. This was dealing with somebody got killed, and they was marching to say stop the violence. And I'm like, and they was like, are you gonna march? I said, no. What does marching gonna do? They still gonna get killed, so I'm not wasting my time. I'm just gonna make sure that I don't get shot.
It is interesting because when all those killings happened about 8 years ago, just when they were started to get filmed and recorded on people's phones. And there was the spontaneous, I don't know, it was the summer of 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
But it was almost all white people downtown. There were a few African Americans, a few black people. But I feel like for whatever reason, white people feel like protesting and marching makes a difference. And if you go up to Ward 3, the upper Caucasia, as I like to call it, it is a bunch of old white people protesting every weekend, the whole Trump thing. And it's I feel like black people just feel like they're totally disenfranchised to begin with. They don't really have any power, so they can't.
That's probably
the protesting isn't
that
going
could be part of it. It's like let them talk, and I hate to say it like that because that even sounds like you want the white people to talk for you. Well, listen, let them. If they can do something, let it go ahead. Because if we do it, like you said, we feel like we're wasting our time. We feel like we're powerless,
Yeah,
and
like
we might get a little angry and do something crazy.
what's the opposite of white privilege? I mean, we demand service. We demand people to do what they're supposed to do. And so when we see something that we don't like, we'll speak up, we'll complain, we'll
Yeah.
yell, we'll
Yes.
protest. And, we don't feel like, oh, nobody's going to like get back at us for complaining.
No.
But I feel like when I came to Southeast DC, it's almost like the folks were kind of used to bad service,
Right.
bad, almost everything,
Yeah.
and
That's why a lot of times we're not going to complain. We're not going to do. We just figure we're going to do it the way we going to do it. Like if you give me bad service, I'm not going to. I'm saying black people in general, especially women. If you go to the counter and there's a white or black lady there, doesn't matter, and they give you bad customer service, we ain't talking about no what's your manager name and no, we're gonna cuss you right back out. It's like we're gonna handle it right here because I'm not going through all that. That's how it is. Okay, you kill me, I kill you. No, forget that. That's how we do it. That's why I think it's best. I think it'd be best if the white people, this y'all way to put some credits to your name of not being racist. I guess we fight for us because y'all would do it the right way. If we go down there, we'll get angry, we'll tear things up. That's why they got the police there. We don't care about the police. We're gonna die anyway. It doesn't matter. So
yeah, we invented passive aggressive behavior. If we don't like the service, we will go to the manager. We'll file a lawsuit.
Right.
We'll file the paperwork.
I've noticed that when white people are in line, whether it's a black person or a white person there that's going to serve them, I went to there's certain post offices I go to. I go across town to get better service because even though I'm black and I go to a white neighborhood to a post office, I get a little, judgment, but it's like long as I speak proper English and I don't sound threatened, I'll be like, hello, ma'am, how you doing? They'll be surprised at first, like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that from a dreadhead. But then they'll give me my good service, opposed to going to my post office up the street with all them black people, because they know it's nothing but black people that come in here. We get terrible. What you want? Can I get a money? We out of it. It ain't working. That's how they do us. But let a white lady come in there. I'm talking about where like up the street. Let a white lady come in there. I've seen this. They changed their posture. Hello, ma'am. How are you? In the same line. It was a black person. Hi, whatever. Yeah, okay. Then white lady. Oh, hello, ma'am. How you doing? Then I came up. What you want? All in the same line.
Yeah, I sometimes get amazing, ridiculous amounts of deference. Oh, sir, how are you? And all this stuff. It's like almost step and fetch it sometimes. Well, let's tell everybody what our overall goal here is. We want $20 to become famous. He's a stand-up comedian.
Oh my God, that's what you want.
And
that's what he's trying to push me. I told him I don't want to do this because see, I just want to talk. But he think I'm funny. I'm not funny. I'm just talking. And when you become famous, what does that even mean? Famous like what? Like on the internet or Hollywood? Which one is it?
Well, it might be both. I think
that's the thing, Mr. Penniman. Let's just put Hollywood in it. That's going to negate everything I just said earlier about not being gay. You want to go into that? We can't, because we don't care. I don't care. Hollywood got this thing where they have, you as a man, let's say me, a man. In order for me to go up in Hollywood, I have to bend over and let a man stick his penis in my butthole in order to get a good show or I can't do that. I'll sleep with your daughter. But it's like they're gonna touch you. They're gonna be like, "Hey, you want to? You look like you moist. Come on now, you can." No. No. That's why I say I don't want to.
No, we're gonna build you a YouTube channel, and we'll be on TikTok, and you'll be out there in person.
That's fine. That's fine. But I'm not all that. Then somebody gonna look at this and be like, "What is he talking about? And is he really funny?" I'm just talking because Mr. Penniman is my friend, and we just to me, it's like I'm just having a conversation with someone I thought was a pedophile, but I found out he's not going to do nothing to me. So now I'm comfortable with him.
Well, I'm glad we've left people on this image. Actually, I have one more question for you. When we talked about the whole $20 thing, you said you also have a government name, which was a phrase I was not familiar with. So where did the whole phrase government name come from?
I don't know.
Because where I come from, you have a name, and there are not as many nicknames. Like everyone's like in Southeast is like Little Tommy,
Right,
or Fat Bill, or
meatball.
yeah, you know,
my mother had so many people's. She was like, "Yeah, I borrowed this money from Meatball." That's it. I was like, "Who is that?" So I guess in the black community, government name is your real name, the one that they have on the files.
One of my students, his mother called him Smallhead.
See, my name is, well, whatever.
No, we can't say the name.
We can't say the name, but it's definitely it's more of a white name, and I've probably gotten jobs because of my name. But then when they see me, they're like, okay, whatever. But I'm already there. That's why I'm like, okay, let me just work a nice labor job, you know. That way I can feel better about myself. I've been trying to prove that I am really. I don't need to prove that I'm black, but it's just the way I act. They're like, why you act like that? Why you sound like that? I don't know. That's just the way I sound.
Now we're gonna make you rich and famous, and
oh Lord,
as long as I get a certain percentage, of course.
Mr. Penniman, you can get everything. I don't want to do this. I'm telling you, that's what this whole thing is going to be about. And I knew you was going to say something about the frog. What's that frog? When the Looney Tunes?
Right.
Yeah, you said I had that in my mind.
There's a singing frog, but he only sings in front of his owner. He's got all this talent. He can sing, he can dance. And the owner has all these riches in mind, but the frog will not perform in front of the public.
See? And now you saying owner, so now they're going to say, oh, so this boy got his own personal slave master. So, and the thing is, you're saying that, but the thing is that the frog actually can sing. That's the difference. I don't know what you see in me.
I don't know. I don't want to be like Jerry in that Straight Outta Compton movie where they eventually take a baseball bat to him because he's stealing from them.
And I don't really look at a lot of things. I got to do more research on stuff that I talk about. But I just go off of some of the things that I've seen. Like I'm just not your average Southeast black person. A lot of people think I'm from the South because the way I sound.
You're an observer, though. You're a keen observer.
I have to live. I'm not street smart, so I have to at least be like, okay, what's going? I stay in the house. I don't know the. By the time I learned the slang that everybody around me is talking about, then I moved on to something else.
Now, thought. I remember thought because that's an acronym, THOT.
Yeah.
Which is the hoe out there.
Yeah, I didn't know none of that. I didn't know no holes out there. I didn't know no holes in there. I didn't know none of that.
See what wonderful language you guys have taught me?
See, I didn't know that. So I'm saying, no, they did that, Brian, we got thoughts. So they kept saying thoughts. Yeah, that's a thought. And I'm thinking they talking about thought in your head. But they was talking about a thought. Like, she's a thought. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about her. No, she's a thought, Brian. That hole over there? I'm like, well, she ain't over there. She right here. You know, but they have moved on and on and on. So I said, forget it. I'm just going to leave that alone because I can never keep up when they change. So, and on top of that, everybody had iPhones. I didn't have my first iPhone. My aunt, this iPhone I got here. My aunt got me this. I was in my 20s when I got my first iPhone, but everybody had iPhones. You know what I had, Mr. Penniman?
You had a flip phone, I remember.
That was when I upgraded. I had an Obama phone with the minutes on it. It didn't even flip. It didn't do cartwheels or nothing. It didn't flip. And that's why, and Miss Tucker, you better not answer your phone. You better not have your phone out while she's teaching. You will get in trouble. You know why I never got in trouble in class with my phone? Because would it look like me pulling out my Obama phone in front of everybody? That's embarrassing. Matter of fact, that phone fell one time in the middle of the class. It was sitting in the middle on the floor. And it was like, who phone is that? I ain't even claim it.
So in other words, there's low income and then there's very low.
Very low. Yeah. I was but I needed it to call the police. You know, it don't take long for, and I had about 250 minutes on it. Every month they would have 250 minutes on there. And there was a girl that I was talking to, and I don't know how I was able to talk to her, but we never had sex. But she would get on the phone and what's it called, Mr. Penniman? Is it called phone sex?
Yeah, like you could sex.
Would she play with herself on the phone?
So both people on both sides are playing with each other and they're making
That was a one-way street because I wasn't playing with myself. I was just looking at her on the phone like, she really doing this? And when she called me, first of all, I had to act like I had to get one of my other friends' iPhones to act like I'm putting her number down because she was like, well, let me get your number. I couldn't pull out that Obama phone. I would have lost everything. So I had to borrow an iPhone to act like it was mine. I don't know how I did that, but I did. And she got the number. And then I transferred onto the Obama phone. And every time she called, she was like, well, go ahead and FaceTime me. I was like, well, I'm bad connection right now. Let's just talk. She's like, okay, and let's do it. But this particular day, she wanted the phone sex, and I'm like, God, I only got 6 minutes on my phone. So I said, okay, well, you're going to have to hurry up and come because I got to go. But really, I was trying to save the minutes. So she did it, and she knocked my minutes down to 2 minutes that I had. And I had to save this 2 minutes for the rest of the month until I got 250 minutes on there. So every time my grandma called, she was like, hey, Brian, I was like, how you doing? On the way. My call. I'm fine. All right. And they was like, wait a minute. Don't you supposed to have 250 minutes? What happened? I couldn't tell them that I was using all those minutes to hear a girl orgasm.
You see, now on the white side of the river, you've got 8-year-old kids with iPhones.
Oh, God.
And the parents take them away at maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock and say, okay, you can have them again tomorrow. But it's not like they have to worry about minutes or restrictions or anything. And some of my friends say it's like the worst thing in the world because you know how mean kids can be to each other.
Yes.
And, on phones. I don't
understand that. Do you understand about the cyberbullying thing?
Yeah, they can send messages and they can be anonymous, like you're fat, you're stupid, you're retarded, and all this stuff.
And what do the white folks do?
You're a thought.
What the white folks do they get upset?
I think they get on message boards and they talk to each other, the other parents,
and the committee, and then this is a disgrace, and my child has trauma behind it. Someone called him fat, and one child killed himself. And listen, suicide is very serious. Can we be honest? Because I don't want to be offensive.
I think white people are committing suicide more often. Because of all the cyberbullying.
Or is it because of all the privilege that they have? It's just too much to bear. You know what? If a black person, if you text a black person, whoever, you fat, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to tell you fat. We're going to solve that right there. It ain't no committee. So that's what I'm saying. We're not getting on the committee board. We're not getting none of that. No program.
You just get off your chest.
We getting off your chest. You fat. You want to see me outside? Come on. I'll show you how fat I am. That's how we do it. For the most part.
Yeah, settle it right away.
Our own issues.
Yeah.
Then when the police come, we don't get the police to protect us. We just get the police to come to clean up the mess that we made.
Yeah.
But that's. Is there anything else before we?
Now let's wrap it up. We're running out of time. So you're going to see us on YouTube. You're going to see us on social media. Now don't say nothing about the other stuff because that's private. We just gonna focus on this right now. We'll focus on this because I don't think I got any talent, and I'm telling you, people gonna say, Mr. Penniman, this is a bad investment. But that's okay. If it's a bad investment, don't worry. I will pay him his $50 back. Well, you will see us on social media, and depending on how we do, we'll entice Mr. $20 to get out there in the open and show his skills.
I don't care how this goes. I'm just glad to talk to you, Mr. Penniman.
And we'll do this on a weekly basis. We'll have our little chats weekly, and we hope to publish every Friday. But stay tuned. We'll see you on the next edition of Keeping in 84. This has been Paul Penniman.
And $20.
Signing off for now.